First down, Rams. We are live on Wednesday night. Hello, RAMILY and other NFL family. I'm Peo Time, and this is my incredible Rams-tastic co-host, Rams House. How are you today, my friend?
I am doing good. You said first down Rams to introduce us into the show. I hope that's something that we can get a lot of on Sunday to help win. And it's crazy. If you win this game, you head to the Super Bowl. So I am absolutely excited about this game. What about you?
Dude, that just hit me. Wow. And whether you're watching with us live or on the replay, thanks for tuning on in. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to both our channels. But wow, that just hit me. I honestly have just adopted this mindset of like, okay, one game at a time, can't look back. But yeah, the winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That is
gives you
crazy.
Chills.
Think of like this season's been a journey, and like I see all the other teams talking about like mock drafts or their head coaching hire and stuff, and like I saw a bunch of Falcons fans freaking out today when Kevin Stefanski was getting a tour of their facility. And I'm like, I am so glad we're not in that. Like, I'm glad they're having fun, enjoying that, journey. We've been there before, but man, I would much rather be here getting stoked for an NFC championship game against a division rival that you split with in the season, and you're largely considered like the two best teams in the NFC. Oh man, I'm here for it.
I'm so excited because it's like, as I mentioned, like you win this game, you go to the Super Bowl. And if you guys don't know, every time Sean McVay makes an NFC championship game, he goes to the Super Bowl. So hopefully we continue that trend. But yeah, it's like there's so many layers to this game. You got the former Rams that are on the Seahawks now with like Cooper Kupp and Ernest Jones being the biggest ones. But my mind immediately goes back to that overtime thriller that we somehow came on the wrong side of when Puka went for 225 yards. It was an insane Thursday night game. But it's like, man, the Rams are up by 16 points in the fourth quarter, and we didn't close it out, and that one stung. But would I care that we lost this game in the regular season if by the time this season's over, the Rams are Super Bowl champions and beat the Seahawks to go there? No, I really wouldn't care about that game anymore. So it really kind of goes back to that streak when the Niners were beating us like 10 times in a row. And they're like, we've beaten you 10 times in a row, whatever. It's like, well, the Rams won the most important one, the NFC championship game. That's what we still hang on to. And so in this case, it's like Seahawks fans may bring up that game that they won and that crazy comeback, but it's like, none of that matters. By the end of this weekend, it's going to be who wins this game, and that makes me so excited.
Rightfully so. I have a fun little fact for you that I'm going to tease now because I'm going to reveal it right after we welcome in some people here. We got Daniel hanging out with us. We got Justin. I think you changed your handle. Justin Ram, man, I like it. I like it.
Ooh, I like it too. In the picture,
renovating the profile pic. I like it. I like it, Justin. Ganeet Singh is here. Yeah, that'd be fun. I
love that.
Got Bruce in the house. Good to see you, Bruce. And Rob's here. The season went by so fast. I agree. Yeah. Wow, the Texans game. Like it seems so long ago, but at the same time, so fast. It's weird.
Agreed.
Weird. Yeah.
Time's a weird thing sometimes.
Jose, shout out from Southern Cali. Good to see you, man. Cheers. And we got Grandizer in the chat. Good to see you as always, my friend. Yeah, okay. I threw out. I've never had that happen before while streaming. And like maybe I didn't eat enough that day or something like that, but like it was around the third quarter, and I just am like, I'm sorry guys, I gotta go, and I bolt get out of here.
It cracks me up.
My very kind subscribers being like, "Are you okay? Drink lots of water."
Yeah, it was funny. I was doing my post-game live stream, and somebody was like, "Do you know if Pale's doing okay? Because he threw up on his stream." And I was like, "Wait, seriously? Like, I didn't tune in at all during your game live stream." So, but like, I relate to you in that. Like, that Bears game was so close that I felt like I had to throw up just because of nerves and how close that game was.
Like that's what it was, because I started to feel it, and then I just kept on being like, no, it'll go away, it'll go away, it'll go away. But it was 10-10 for so long, and just something came. I was like, I gotta get to the bathroom.
That's so hilarious.
Oh,
Glad it's over
man.
with now.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Now a couple more shout outs. Willie Bowen, good to see you here as well. And I want to reveal this fun little fact to you here. Okay.
Okay.
So a Rams reporter today at the press conference, I'm not sure who it was. I think it might have been Gary. And he asked Devontae Adams about playing 3 games on the road, because the NFL schedule makers, they sometimes can't avoid it, but they do all that they can to avoid teams playing 3 road games on the road. Now here we have the Rams, who have played a road game in Carolina, then a road game in Chicago, and now they're playing a road game in Seattle. Mm-hmm. But if you actually look at the Rams schedule here, which I'll bring up, and I'll zoom in a little bit to make my point even more poignant, is so this is week 18 where the Rams played the Cardinals. So that was at home. But then they also played week 17 and 16 on the road. So since week 16, the Rams have actually played 4 out of their 5 games on the road, and then it will be 5 out of 6 games on the road, including this Seattle game coming up here. And so I say all this to say that what the Rams are doing is a huge accomplishment, right? And I see a lot of people being like, oh, they need to win by more and things like that. Like, at this point in the season, especially in the playoffs, just get the win any way you can. But what's your reaction to that? After this game, the Rams will have played 5 out of 6 games on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be a little bit more concerned about it if we were a bad road team.
Yeah.
Like, you have those weird teams where it's like they play really well at home, but if they're on the road, they struggle. For me, it's like, yeah, like it's probably wearing it on them more than it would had they just been staying home, like at SoFi Stadium. But at the end of the day, it's like they had the opportunity to get the 1 seed and they didn't. And this is just kind of the path that you have to go through. I kind of enjoy it as a Rams fan. I love them to have that home field advantage, but to be able to go into other teams' houses and take those wins in the playoffs, there's just something a little gratifying about that. Like that viral video that was going out there after that, the Panthers game first off, but the Bears won when Mevis put it through the uprights, how quiet that stadium got.
Yeah.
There's something cool about that. And then like that NFC Championship game against the Saints with Greg Zuerlein when he hit it through, like there's something cool about that, but I'm sure it is probably wearing on them, but I don't think it's anything past what they can take. And I think it does help that if they win this game against the Seahawks, they'd be going back to California because that's where the Super Bowl would be played, and they could stay regulated in their own place because like it's at Levi Stadium. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
Yeah, I just think it shows a lot of grit for this Rams team, and I love Rams Mob said this, like road warriors, and I think when you look at it, like, because the Rams traveled over to London, like they've done a lot of traveling like they normally do, but to finish off the season in this manner at the 5 seed, it really is a testament to the Rams players, coaching staff, trainers, and just their logistics team to be like, okay, how can we set our players up for success the best? And I love that they're able to go into Carolina and steal some souls, right? And then they can go into the Bears, and like every Bears fan in that stadium, like you thought their heart skipped a beat when Mevis kicked that, and they're like, it's over, right? Like seeing the defeated look on all the Bears fans, and like I appreciated when you see like the fan videos of Mevis making the kicks, and all you hear is like the Rams players celebrating, and like the crowd is hushed, right?
Yeah. No, that's so sweet. And like, if you end up finishing this thing off and you do go on that run and you win the Super Bowl, it's like, how cool is it to just go on each one of those stadiums on the road and to be able to do it? Like, you would love that home field advantage experience, especially because last year we got robbed of that with the California fires. Like we couldn't get that home field advantage, but we had like the opportunity to do it. And then like, you would love that, but at the same time, there is something a little bit sweet about that, especially like if you can go into Lumen Stadium, Lumen Field, and take a win there. Like that is a tough place to play. It's loud. There's always that one guy with that cruel sign to either Sean McVay or the players, that one like at the tunnels that has some sort of like hater sign. Like you just know what's going to happen at Lumen Field. It's going to be loud. They have a great crowd there. So if you can get it done there, it almost makes it a little bit sweeter in my opinion.
No, I very much agree. And like, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this game flows, because we've seen all the stats. The Rams and Seahawks are really close in their all-time series, their all-time points and things like that. And this might be, at least in recent memory, the best that these two teams match up that we've seen in a long time, right? Like I remember some years where like the Seahawks were more dominant, or years where the Rams were more dominant. And they've had this rivalry for sure, but this year it just seems like both these teams really are the class of the NFC.
No, it does, and the NFL too, right? Like the whole year, at least the second half of the season, it's been like Seahawks, Rams, best teams in the NFL. That's what's been talked about, and so that just makes it even more sweet. It's like I'm glad we didn't get this game in the divisional round or wild card. Like to have it be with the stakes as big as they are, with both these teams arguably being the best in the NFL. It's like you don't want it any better than this. Like you can't get it any better, essentially. And you have all the different storylines with it, and one of them is that Sam Darnold storyline. I saw Willie Bowen brought it up in the comments. It says Landman or Verse put Darnold on the turf, horns up. Yep. And I've seen a lot of different people talking about Sam Darnold on different kind of sides of the spectrum. Of some Rams fans, I've seen them be a little bit worried because, like, as if he figured something out. Because last game he put together a game-winning drive, and he's stuck in there long enough. Even though he had those 2 interceptions and had some bad moments, he was able to overcome it and beat the Rams himself. It wasn't just them running. But there's other fans that are like, oh, he's going to be seeing ghosts again. Where do you lay with all that? Because I just want to show this to the people in the chat, this graphic that I made of the last 3 games that Sam Darnold has played the Los Angeles Rams. These are his numbers. So 2 games in Seattle this year. The Vikings won last year. This is the numbers he has put up. Do you take any confidence in that? Where do you lay with this whole conversation?
That's a really good question. I have kind of 2 thoughts that come to mind. There's the Sam Darnold storyline of like, what's his narrative in big games? Does he, as Rich Eisen said, like, does he turn back into a pumpkin, right? And that early part of his career where he's seen ghosts and things like that, which has stayed with him like to this day, even though he has improved a lot as a quarterback. Like, I don't think anyone would refute that. But then my other thought going into it is, this is actually more about the Rams defensive line. This Rams defensive line, we've been saying it all year, their best football is yet to come. They've had some really good games, and I think against Caleb Williams and the Bears, they played a really disciplined defense. So they didn't necessarily get an opportunity to run a lot of sacks and things, or to get a lot of sacks and things like that. But I truly believe that this is the game we see the Rams defensive line play their best football. I think that Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Jared Verse, Puna Ford, Nate Landman, Omar Spates, put everyone on there. This D-line, this is going to be their best game yet. And I cannot wait, because if Sam Darnold can beat them, he earned it. He absolutely earned it. But if the Rams D-line plays their best, I believe that'll be the ticket to the Rams punching their ticket to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's one of those things too, because I kind of think back when I'm hearing all these Sam Darnold conversations, I hear people talking about, like, including myself, I'm one of the people that has been like, you got to make Sam Darnold throw it a lot, because last game, while he did win his first playoff game in his NFL career, he only had to throw it 17 times.
Yeah.
The defense was dominant. The run game was dominant. They had short fields. So I don't want to take things away from Sam Darnold, but like at the same time, you got to look at it objectively and be like, he's the kind of guy that if you make him throw it more times and make him keep up with you, he can do that, but he's going to have his mistakes. And the Rams have done a great job of doing that. The 6 of his 14 interceptions this year have been from the Rams, and they do a good job of getting sacks and just confusing him enough. So I think you have to look at both things, but I do have to admit, like when I'm thinking about the whole narrative of, Sam Darnold won a game when he didn't have to do much, I think back to the whole conversation of when Matthew Stafford came to the Rams and they were like, oh, he's never won a playoff game. And that was such a big narrative. In the first game, we beat the Cardinals like 30-11 or something. And that same conversation was happening. People were like, Matthew Stafford didn't have to do much. The defense was so dominant. It was the run game. He only had to throw it in certain scenarios. And it's like, you can't take away credit because it's like, if you get those little opportunities, like you can't do much about that. You just got to play with what you're given. But with Sam Darnold in particular, I'm like, he's the kind of guy, especially against the Rams defense, that I want to have a lot of attempts and to be playing keep up, because I have faith that Matthew Stafford can outdo Sam Darnold in a QB head-to-head if that's what it comes down to. And I recognize that the Seahawks defense is great, but like Stafford put up over 450 yards on them last time. Puka had 225. So there's a whole like tug and pull between both of those things.
I don't know if this is true either, but maybe did you see the stat about Kyron Williams against the Seahawks flying around?
No.
Apparently he hasn't had, I haven't fact checked this, everyone, but apparently he hasn't had less than 70 yards rushing in a game against the Seahawks in his career. And he has had some production against the Seahawks, no doubt. But yeah, I saw that somewhere on Twitter and I was like, oh, I should have, I gotta learn to save it so I can show it on the show.
That is very interesting. That was not something I was keeping track with, but we got the Seahawks fan in the chat. Appreciate you coming in here.
Yeah,
he says, well, the Seattle's defense had 3 days to rest when he threw for 500 yards on them. And that's definitely fair. I don't expect Stafford to do that same thing again. But if you're going to do that, you have to also understand, like, the Rams didn't have their best lineman in Kevin Dotson against the Seahawks for most of that game. And they didn't have Devontae Adams when Stafford put over 500, or not 500 yards, but it was getting close to there. So I think both things are true. It's like Stafford has probably been the best quarterback to be able to go up against the Seahawks defense all year. In that first matchup, the Seahawks did a good job holding him in check. Second matchup, he did really well without his best red zone target on a short week. So I think there's a little bit in between there, but yeah, good point there.
Yeah, fair, valid. Yeah. So let's talk about, from the Seahawks perspective, are we in agreement that like special teams and Shaheed are like the biggest concerns headed into this game?
Can you say the first one again? It cut out.
Oh, sorry. Are we on the same page that like special teams and like Shaheed, that's kind of like the biggest concern headed into this game?
Yeah, I'd also throw in Kenneth Walker probably.
Yeah.
Their run game, because like if they can run it well, they can limit his passing attempts again. So yeah, I would say those are pretty good. But yeah, there's a lot of, the Seahawks team is so stacked where I think you can lump a few things in there. But yeah, I think those are fair.
Yeah, I don't see anyone talking about the Cooper Kupp revenge narrative. Maybe that got worn out the first 2 matches.
It feels like after the first matchup, that was just already kind of worn out there.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's good. Definitely an interesting thing. I feel like I always think of the revenge narrative with the Seahawks versus Rams in the former player thing more with Ernest Jones than I do Cooper Kupp. Like Kupp is such a classy guy. He didn't want to leave the Rams. Ernest Jones definitely wears a little bit more of on his sleeve of like he wants the revenge each time. So
yeah, and like Ernest Jones has been balling out this year. So
seriously, he's been such a good fit there.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good point by Rams Mob. He says Seahawks are 11-0 at Lumen Field in the playoffs, except against the Rams. They're 0-2.
Ooh,
that's a stat that I like to hear there. Yeah, how do you think this little home field advantage, I don't want to call it little, this home field advantage that the Seahawks have, how much do you think that's going to play into this Rams game? Because you have to admit, even though you're a Rams fan, like they've got a strong home field advantage, and that's going to affect things in this game.
So I remember I did a collab with Brandon Kane 2 years ago, and he told me something about the Seahawks 12th man advantage that's kind of stuck with me. He talked about how he was frustrated with Pete Carroll because he felt like the 12th man advantage they were losing,
Yeah.
But when they hired McDonald, it came back. And it's reignited. You know, they were a 10-win team last year. They've been one of the best teams in the NFL this year. And as soon as Seattle has a team that, you know, is competing for a championship, they all come out. Like as he says, like the 12s come out. So you got to respect that. Like it's very real. It is going to be loud in there, but thankfully the Rams do have experience playing in that environment.
Yeah.
And also, I can't help but be thankful that Stafford is a, you know, veteran quarterback, that he's played in a lot of loud stadiums before. And I think back to like the playoff game in Detroit. I don't know if there was a louder environment that Stafford has ever walked into, right? That had like that much, like, you know, 80,000 plus people in there booing you specifically, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good point there. And even the Bears game last week, like that was incredibly loud too. And that game was close for a while, but when the Rams offense was out there, the Bears fans were loud. They're passionate. And I mean, obviously the team was completely different. There's probably only a couple Rams left on the team, but that NFC Championship game against the Saints all the way back in 2018 was crazy loud. And I bring that up, like, I think it would probably only be Tyler Higbee and Rob Havenstein that are left from that team. But Sean McVay knows how to deal in these environments. And as you said, like, I think the fact that we play there at least one time every year does help. Now, the crowd is going to be electric. They're going to be loud. But as competitors, the Rams probably like that in the sense of, like, if they can quiet them down, if they can get them out of there with a win, it's going to make the operation harder. But I think the Rams have done it enough, even at their own stadium at times, to be able to understand silent count and do things. So they're usually typically like a very disciplined team. So I don't expect a ton of mistakes out of it, but I do acknowledge like that home field advantage is pretty good for the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for this game. Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah. And I find it funny that like as soon as the Rams beat the Bears, Sean McVay is getting asked questions from the podium about the Seahawks, right? And like he just had this emotional overtime win. And already reporters are asking him questions about the Seahawks. And he has to acknowledge, like, oh, we got a really good opponent coming up next week that we got to prepare for, right? Like it, and the sports psychology of it, I really appreciate it.
No, yeah, I do too. And this game, like, there's just so many storylines with this. I just love how it's come down to these two teams. And because like if the Bears made it to the NFC Championship game to play the Seahawks, I think that the Seahawks would be heavily favored there. But like Rams and Seahawks, this is becoming a really good matchup between both teams, and McDonald's really helped that. But like we talked about it earlier, between both games is decided by 3 points, like 3 total points separate these teams in 2 games. One of them had to go into overtime, and both teams weren't fully healthy last time out. This game, we're gonna have basically close to fully healthy teams as you can get. So it's like what more could you want in this game? This game is gonna be so exciting.
Absolutely, and I find it interesting that both the Rams win over the Panthers and the Bears. There's kind of been this like after school special aftermath of it, of like, hey, we're all friends. Like Panthers fans were like, we got beat by the Rams, but like, you know, the future looks bright. And then the Bears were like, we got beat by the Rams, but like the future looks bright. And like even like Ben Johnson, you know, told McVay to go win one, right? Like it's cool to see that like respect for the Rams and kind of where they're at. But I don't expect that with the Seahawks. If the Rams beat the Seahawks, no, this is not a like, oh, we're friends afterwards. This is a like whoever wins this game is gonna be like, oh no.
Yeah. The only friendly dynamic in this game is going to be Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua throwing the ball before the game. Like they still do that, even though they're on opposite teams now. And like that's the only thing, but it is crazy because this is probably, I know that there's been big important games in Seahawks Rams history, but this is the most important one in the history of these two teams.
Yeah.
I'd venture to guess. When I look back at it, and like I think this is actually the game that has meant the most between both teams. And it's funny because we said that last time with the Thursday night game of like, this is going to decide who gets the 1 seed. And then now they one-upped it. Now it's for the Super Bowl trip on the line. So like, oh man, it like Devontae Adams was saying earlier, it feels surreal that you're this close.
Definitely. I see we got some cool people in the chat. We got ESG is here. Grandizer, I plan on just live streaming the game solo just because I like to interact with the chat myself. But then we got Lions today. Hey, Mike. Ooh, good to see you, man. Thanks for popping on in here on our Wednesday night First Down Rams live show. And he's saying, thank you for crushing the souls of Bears fans. Lions fans show love. Yeah, because I feel like the Rams are building like this coalition of like, okay, who is cheering on the Rams, right? Like, because the final four teams, all the teams that are out there, like pick, who they're going to cheer for. I feel like there are a lot of fans that are like, you know what, I'd be cool seeing Stafford and the Rams win another one, right?
Yeah. Oh, and there's that whole funny thing of like Lions fans rooting for Stafford to be able to go out and beat the Bears because the whole divisional thing after they didn't want him to do well for a while. But then there's also that storyline of like all the Packers fan base wanting Devontae Adams to do well to beat the Bears. So it's like, it is funny to see that whole thing behind it all. But yeah, I mean, this playoffs is so cool because there's just so many like fresh teams in the mix to where it's like, even with the Rams being in the mix again, and they were only here like back in 2021, it's like, it's a completely different team. You have those key pillars, but there's a lot of different people on here. So definitely a lot of likable teams, but hopefully we obviously make it and get it done.
Absolutely. Rams Bob saying, no love lost. This game is personal. The way they celebrated that Thursday night game was a little over the top, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I did feel like the Hawks fans got quiet when they were up 16 points. I think we can take the crowd out of this game. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into over Rams action?
Yeah, let's get into this playoff NFC Championship version of Over Rams Action Wednesday.
Yeah.
If you guys are new to the show, like our Lions fan in here, this is a show that is basically just a reflection of what Rich Eisen and Christopher Brockman do on Mondays for their Overreaction Monday podcast. But it's, of course, just all about the Rams, because why wouldn't it be? And in this case, it's going to be all about Rams versus Seahawks. So essentially the game that we play is I'm going to be pitching hot takes to Peo Time and to you guys in the chat. And they could be a hot take or they could be a fair take. And it's up to you guys to decide if it's hot or if it's a fair take. But if it's a hot take, we like to call it Over Rams Actions. So that is how this game works. NFC Championship version. Let's get into it. So we talked about it earlier. We talked about the whole Sam Darnold versus the Rams, the past and everything that has come up with that whole narrative of seeing ghosts, whatever. I have a question to you guys.
Okay.
Is this going to be a night that Sam Darnold will want to forget by the end of the day, where the Rams have a great performance against Sam Darnold? And it's going to be one of those where you're like, man, that just wasn't Sam Darnold's night. Or is that an Over Rams action?
Okay. The biased Rams fan in me wants to say that's not an Over Rams action. I think it is an Over Rams action from the nuance perspective, just because this is the biggest game in Sam Darnold's career, right? If he were to actually put on a good performance and win this game, he would be like, personally for his own career, he'd be settling a lot of ghosts, right? as old man goes to say. But yeah, I think that's a bit of an Over Rams action here, because even if Sam Darnold isn't the reason the Seahawks lose this, then it was still justified the Seahawks getting him as a quarterback. So for that reason, I'm going to say it's an Over Rams action, but selfishly, I want to say that it's not. Yeah.
Here's where I'm at with that. I don't think he's going to be seeing ghosts again, like everybody said, because like that was all the way back when he's on the Jets. Like I think it's time to move on from the seeing ghosts thing. Like I don't know if we'll see that kind of thing again. I don't feel like we are going to see that. But what I will say is, if this game turns into a game where Sam Darnold has to throw it 30 times or more, I think there will be one or two plays in there that the Rams are going to be able to get him into an interception or to hold onto the ball and take a sack, just because he hasn't shown to be able to have a game where he just plays really clean against the Rams, does well, and gets out of there with a win. Now, if they're running the ball well and all that's happening, it's a different story. But if the Rams can get it to where the game is on him the entirety of the game, I think we're bound to see a mistake or two. And to be honest, like these games have been close the last 2 times where a mistake or two could cost you the game. But Seahawks obviously have a good defense themselves, so they could kind of make amends for those things. But I don't think we're going to see him go back to the Sam Darnold ghost and all of that. But if he goes over 30 passing attempts, I think the Rams can get 1 or 2 mistakes, and that may be all it takes to be able to get the Rams to get this win. So that is the first one we're starting with, of course, is about Sam Darnold because everybody's talking about that one. It's Rams and Sam Darnold.
No, it's fair. Yeah.
Number 2, the Seahawks have been one of those teams that have been very dominant at times in the season. They've had a lot of examples, including last week, blowing teams out, having good performances, putting a lot of points on the board. I'm saying if the Rams don't score more than 24 points in this game, they are in trouble.
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to say that's not an over Rams action. I think in order to force Sam Darnold to be the one to take over, lead the Seahawks offense this game and not just, hog the ball and protect the lead. I think it has to be a higher scoring game. I do think a higher scoring game favors the Rams. Yeah. So I'm going to say that's not an over Rams action personally.
Okay. I'll take it. I think I'm kind of going back and forth on this one because for the second matchup, we saw an explosion of points, and we remember that Thursday night football game. First matchup, it was like 21-19. I don't think we're going to see an explosion of points on both offenses as much this game because this is going to be the third time meeting against each other. They know each other well, and that Thursday night game almost felt more of like a one-off where you're not going to see another performance going that high scoring. I could be wrong here, but 24 points may be just enough to be able to get the win. I think it would come down to if the Rams defense comes to play, 24 points may be just enough to eke this one out. But I don't know. It depends on where you sit on all of that, just because I don't think we'll get a replication of what we saw on Thursday night last time. So we'll see what ends up happening. But Ram Showcase says, for no reason at all, this game will be like 16-10. Yeah, right? Honestly, like that wouldn't surprise me a ton. I mean, like in my head, I'm thinking somewhere like 23-20, 24-20, somewhere around there. But I don't think we've seen an explosion of points this time. And Juno Trooper says not an over Rams action.
Yeah, I think I've given up score predictions just because I've been like so wrong. And I thought the Rams and Bears were going to be in the 40s each.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, score predictions are hard. It's like you rarely ever get them right. But before we move on, I want to shout out the Bears fan here. He says, hey, Bryce, the Bears fan here. Best of luck to you guys this week. Going to be an incredible game to watch. I appreciate you coming in here, Bryce. I want to say I've never interacted with you in person, but both of those times that you were on with Peo Time were incredible watches. And if you continue to do this Bears stuff, like you've got a good knack at it. So shout out him. Number 3, though, transitioning back into this Seahawks-Rams game. I'm saying, again, I'm not feeling extreme dynamism on offense this game between both teams. I'm not feeling like both teams are going to have explosive plays and a bunch of points put up, but I could be in the minority here. Okay. I'm saying the longest field goal attempt will be bigger than the number of total yards scored in this game. And what I meant by that is like the longest play in yards. So the longest field goal attempt is going to be longer than the longest play in yards for both the Rams or the Seahawks in this game.
Okay, so just to clarify for our audience, so like if Stafford throws a 50-yard touchdown pass, you think there's going to be a longer field goal than that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, the Seahawks have a good kicker in Meyer too. So, the longest field goal attempt will be bigger than the total number. So total number of points. So if the Rams score 20 points, the Seahawks score 20 points, it's 40 points. Is that what you're talking about then?
I think so. I think these ones are just getting all mixed up. But yeah, we'll just go with points. Total points scored, longest field goal.
Okay.
Thanks for getting me back on track here.
No. So if both the Rams and Seahawks score like above 25 points, then that's over 50 points. The longest field goal attempt. I don't see like a 60-yard field goal in this game. And because I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game, I'm going to say that's an over Rams action. Plus, just based on kind of where these teams are going, I actually think, especially early in the game, if the ball's at midfield and it's 4th down, I could see both these teams going for it.
I think points are going to be more valuable in this game than other games, where it's like taking the 3 actually may be more valuable than kind of like in that Bears game. And for a while we were at 10-10, like for so long in that game, where it's like even a field goal felt like a big win for your team. So I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as Bears Rams, but I do think that it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. But it is tough. How about if we do the longest yard play from either the Rams or the Seahawks? Do you think that will be bigger than the longest attempted field goal, or where do you stand with that?
No, I don't. No. I think I think that this is going to be a game where both offenses are going to have to earn their drives. They're going to have to, earn their touchdowns. I don't see like maybe there's a big pass for 30 or 40 yards, but like I don't think that there's going to be like a 50 some yard, touchdown. Unless Shaheed gets a punt return, which I'm hoping the Rams just don't kick it to him, right?
Yeah, seriously. But moving on from number 3 to number 4, hopefully this one's a little bit more easy to understand. So you got a lot of big names in this matchup. I mean, on the Rams alone, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams, Jared Verse, you could go down the line of that. And on the Seahawks, you got big names there like JSN, obviously Kenneth Walker, Leonard Williams. So you got big names all across here. But speaking in particular just for the Rams in this game, it's going to be more important for players like Jordan Whittington or an Omar Spates or a Poona Ford, some of the lower Rams names that maybe not huge household names for people. It's going to be more important for them to step up in this game than for big name players like a Kobe Turner or a Devontae Adams or a Kyren Williams to step up. It's going to be more about those smaller names that maybe the average NFL fan wouldn't know as much than it is going to be about like, ooh, Kyren had a big day today.
That's not an over Rams action at all. And I think that's playoff football, right? Like that's how many times do we see the player that not many people outside of that team's fan base know about be the one to make that big play, right? Like even like I had friends tell me like Cam Curl, like who's he? And I'm like, oh, Cam Curl has been a valuable free agent that the Rams picked up, a couple years ago. So I absolutely, I don't think this is an over Rams action at all. I think that those players that aren't household names, they need to step up and make the big plays.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch here because guys like in particular like Devontae Adams don't always
for a reader.
Yeah, that's true. The guys like Devontae Adams don't like. At this point in his career, he doesn't always have the huge 100-plus yard games and a bunch of touchdowns like every game. But one thing that's consistent with him, no matter what the stats are, is he'll have a big play at a big moment. Just like last week against the Bears, he didn't have a catch till like the 4th quarter or overtime. I can't even remember at this point, but it was that deep out route, great catch to help the Rams get points when they really needed it. And even against the Seahawks in the first matchup, he had 1 catch for 1 yard and 1 touchdown, and that was all he had. But with guys like Devontae Adams, even if he doesn't stuff the stat sheet, it's like he'll get the big plays when they matter. And in this game in particular, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because Seahawks are very familiar with us. Maybe it's going to be more so on players that aren't the big names that are going to make the plays that make a difference in this game. And I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
The Troy Reader one is still funny to me, though.
All right. Are you going to put the 5th one up on screen so we can read along with you?
Yeah, we got number 5 and number 6. I got 2 of them.
Oh, 2. Oh, okay.
So this is a big game for the Los Angeles Rams and Seahawks, and we already know that. But again, we're still waiting for that big pass rush game to come for the Rams, especially in the playoffs. And I'm saying in a game like this, the Rams need Verse in the pass rush of the Los Angeles Rams to step up, and they need to be dominant in this game for the Rams to win.
Yeah, that's not an over Rams action at all. I think if they're not, I don't know if the Rams have a path to victory here.
I agree.
I like that I think like all season long, we've seen flashes of this dominant Rams D line.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm being honest, there are times I haven't felt like it's lived up to the hype that it had in the offseason. But I do believe this Rams D-line's best football is in front of them. This game, this game is the game for them to really make a name for themselves. I absolutely believe they need to get pressure on Darnold early in this game and often.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be big because Sam Darnold, as much as he has mistakes against the Rams and things like that, a lot of the times the reasons are because the Rams pass rush is just consistently getting in his face. And in both games, I mean, like Kenneth Walker had a big run against the Rams in the second game, and that one hurt. But overall, both games, the Rams are making the Seahawks have to pass it a lot. And getting in those scenarios where Darnold is making those mistakes is because that pass rush is good. If the Rams have just a mediocre pass rush or a decent pass rush, Darnold, I think, can still carve you up. And that's just like he's a good quarterback. He is. But I think you do need to have that consistent, dominant pressure and kind of remind him of what the Rams did to him in the past to be able to win this game. And obviously, stopping the run is going to be important here, too. But before we move on to our last one, a good question here says, do you think the secondary needs to step up in a big game, especially against a team with a dominant offense like the Seahawks? What do you say to that, Peo?
It has to be a collective effort, right? You're in the NFC Championship game. If someone on your team is not stepping up, like that could be the reason you lose the game, right? And the margin for error in these playoff games is so slim, right? And I think that you look at that Seattle 49ers game, the Niners were never in that game. And they made several mistakes early in that game that they had no chance of recovering from, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, the Seahawks are a well-coached team. They have a lot of talent on their roster. I think that the Rams, in the same way, could do the same thing to another team if, like the Seahawks, if they were to make those mistakes early on. So, yeah, I think that both the Rams pass rush and secondary need to step up for this.
Yeah, and I think one of them benefits from the other. Like if the Rams pass rush is doing really well, the secondary is going to have an easier job. And if that's happening, Darnold's going to force the ball. Any quarterback is going to start to force the ball if they're just consistently facing pressure like that. It's just hard to do. But I will say, like I've said it all year, the Rams secondary is very volatile. It doesn't mean they're bad. It's just when they're good, they're really good. And when they're bad, it's like, oh man, this is hard to watch. But last week against the Bears, I felt like they were really good. And the weather kind of played into that. The Bears had some drops, but Rams secondary last game, I think, had one of their best games on the year. Not only from like looking at the numbers standpoint of players like a Loveland or DJ Moore or whoever you want to pull up didn't have big games, but at the same time, you had the 3 interceptions. And it's like, if this is the start of a run for the next 2 games to have our cornerbacks and our secondary playing at their best, like I'll take that because then it makes it easier on the pass rush. And those 2 things definitely go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah, if that happens, I don't care about any stats from the regular season whatsoever about the Rams secondary.
Seriously. Yeah, just go on a run. Yep. All right. For our last one here, this one's a little bit interesting because I've seen the narrative pushed a lot this week. And again, I'm guilty of it as well, of bringing up how many close games the Rams have had this year against the Seahawks. And first one decided by 2 points, second one decided by 1 point, going into overtime as well. Everybody's saying, oh, this is going to be a really tight game. And you got to be on the edge of your seats. It's going to make us nervous. Whether the Rams win or the Seahawks win, this game will be decided by more than 10 points.
I think that's an over Rams action. Just, I think these teams are close. Like they're really close. I'm like this would mean that like one team just made it, a fatal mistake that like they didn't come back from. I think this game is coming down to the final like minute of the game again. I really do. Possible overtime.
I'm with you on both sides here. I'm like 50-50 on this one. I'm not picking a lane right here, Pale. I don't know what I'm doing. But
pick a lane. Pick a lane.
It's so like one side of it is like, yes, this is going to be close again. Everything's shown about it. These are 2 of the best teams. Like it's going to be close. It's divisional. Then there's another side of me that selfishly like, but what if the Rams just have one of those days against Sam Darnold again, or just do enough to get a couple turnovers, and that's all the Rams offense needs? And that's definitely bias weighing into it there. But then also like if I look at it unbiasedly, it's like, man, like the Seahawks team has blown out a lot of teams this year. and they feel like one of those teams that if they get rolling early and start just kind of harassing you on the defensive side and then putting up points on the offensive side, it's hard to swing that momentum back. So it's like looking at it from both sides. While it feels like it's going to be a closer game, I'm like, man, I don't know. It could be a win by 10 or more points by either the Rams or the Seahawks, because we've seen both teams be able to put up those kinds of games. So selfishly, I'd either want a Rams blowout or a close game win, but we're going to have to see what happens. We're going to have to wait and see.
Sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. This is what Sheriff Joe Bag says. Rams are battle tested, and the Seahawks' lone playoff win was the Niners stumbling all over themselves. Not saying it's what I'm guessing, but it could be a big day for us.
Yep.
And that's it's hard for me to separate like Rams bias from that, because in my head, I'm like, if the Rams just play a dominant defensive game, like I feel pretty good about it. But it's like, is that Rams bias? I can't tell. So I would say, like, the safer guys would probably say, no, it's going to be a close game. But I'm like, don't just say it automatically is going to be, because like both these teams have put up impressive blowout wins. So that is my final over Rams action. Hopefully not of the season. Hopefully the next one's going to be Super Bowl over Rams actions, but we're going to have to wait and see. Until then, though, we got the what's more likely, but it's just the Rams by my fellow friend here, Peo Time. So what do you got, Peo Time?
Thank you. Yeah, we'll get into it. First, that was a fantastic segment. Thank you for putting that together. That was fun. And I hope everyone watching with us live is having a good time. We appreciate you all hanging out and talking to each other and us in the chat. And honestly, one of my favorite parts of this NFL season has been doing First Down Rams live with you. This has been one of my favorite things to do with you, Rams House, and all of you in the chat. We appreciate you joining us on our journey and the quest to watch the Rams win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. No, seriously, like whatever the result of the Rams game is in the season and all of that, like just doing this with you, Peo, and you guys in the chat has definitely made the season so much more fun. So hopefully we just get more content out of it for sure.
Absolutely. All right. But let's get into what's more likely, but it's just the Rams, and I totally spelt likely wrong.
It's one of those days. It's one of those days.
Yeah. Hey, it's a hump day, Wednesday.
Hump day.
Let me get this graphic on the tube so no one notices that anymore. But what's more likely? All right, coming up, starting off hot. Stafford throws for 400 plus yards, or the Seahawks 12th man causes 3+ false start penalties on the Rams.
That's a really good one. Oh man, it's hard because I don't really see Stafford throwing for 400 plus yards again on this defense. I think they'll make their adjustments, and they're a good defense, but I don't know if I see 3+ false start penalties, because the Rams have done really well in this environment and they have experience with it. So I think I'm going to go the bias way. I'm going to pick Stafford 400 plus yards. I mean, he did it last time, and the Rams are a very disciplined team, rarely have those kinds of penalties. So I'm going to lean towards the first one.
Okay. It looks like Rams House or Rams Showcase and Rams Mob are agreeing with you. Okay.
Cool. I like it.
Cool. All right. Again, my goal is to make you guys go, huh? So it looks like that one, I did not accomplish my goal that much there. And Justin, as always, partying it up in the chat.
MVP.
I would love to meet Justin in real life, because he just like is the most hype individual ever.
Yeah.
So
Ultimate hype man.
Yeah. Juno also agrees in the 400. All right. What's more likely? Harrison Mevis hits another game-winning field goal as time expires, or Rashid Shaheed gains less than 20 punt return yards all game.
Oh, this one makes me think. I can just say it already. Oh, Shaheed's a really good returner. Mevis hitting another game-winning field goal. I think Shaheed,
as time expires, so it has to be in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think Shaheed is that good where I'm going to actually go with Mevis. 20 punt return. Yeah, I'm going to go the first one. I mean, it's going to put us through it again, but I'm going first one.
Okay. I first off, I would love for both these things to happen, but in the interest of picking a lane, yeah, first one.
You got to be decisive.
And you know what, Sheriff Joe is. I feel like we're all kind of on the same point of like, yeah, we know what the Rams special teams punt coverage is. It's not the strength of their team. And personally, I'd be okay if Ethan Evans was like, we're just gonna kick it out of bounds the entire game. Like,
hey,
don't give him a chance.
I was gonna say Ethan Evans had a great playoff moment last week. That punt that he had against the Bears that went down like right on the edge on the 4-yard line. It was like rolling down like on a tightrope. I mean, that was a great kick there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Money Mevis, I like it. Okay, very cool, everyone. All right, well, I made you guys go, huh?
You did.
Right? Okay. Okay, I got a Kyren Williams one here coming up. Ooh. What's more likely? Kyren Williams outrushes Kenneth Walker by 50-plus yards, or Sam Darnold rushes for more than 20 yards this game total?
That's a really good one. Because Blake Corum and Kyren Williams split time. Kenneth Walker doesn't really have to deal with that as much. But Sam Darnold rushing for that many yards? Can I really see that happening? This one's making me think here. Another caveat here is that would mean that McVay would probably have to stick to the run game for Kyren to get 50-plus more than Kenneth Walker, or the Seahawks abandon it. So this one is successful because it's making me think here.
Yes.
I just, it's hard for me to picture Sam Darnold scrambling.
Yeah, Sheriff Joe is saying playoff Kyren's a real thing. K-Dub, yeah.
It is. He just needs more opportunities. Oh, man.
I think this is a good one. Also thinking because no one's putting any answers in.
I know. Sheriff Joe Bags was like the most decisive out of this whole thing. I'm going to have to pick one at the end of the day. Oddly enough, I'm going Sam Darnold.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's both of them are hard to pick between. I'm just going to go Sam Darnold.
Okay. I have a hard time seeing Sam Darnold rush for over 20 yards in a football game, but
right.
Yeah. You never know.
You do.
Okay. What's more likely? This game goes into overtime again for the Rams, or Cam Curl gets an interception to win the game in the final 2 minutes.
That's a good one. Again, both feel very real to me.
Yeah.
So you're doing a good job here because I'm like, I want to pick both.
Pick a lane.
I got to pick a lane. I don't know why. I'm feeling a Cam Curl pick.
You're going Cam Curl pick?
Because, he had that one against the Bears last week, which is big, but I just randomly am remembering against the Colts to end that game earlier on in the year. It was Cam Curl ending it in that 2-minute drill, getting the interception. So maybe there's something to that. I have a feeling the Rams are going to get at least one interception this game against Darnold. And I don't know. I'm kind of feeling that. I could see overtime, but I'm going to pick Cam Curl.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat are picking overtime. Sheriff Joe is going Cam Bam.
Let's go, Joe.
Juno's saying OT, then interception. Juno, okay.
He picked both, though.
Oh, yeah. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. Yeah, we mean in the final 2 minutes. Yeah. But okay. Yeah, I expect this game to be tight, and I'm prepared for it. I'm going to make sure I have lots of water and eat appropriate food ahead of time.
Yeah, you don't want to throw up again.
All right, I got 2 more here for you.
All right.
Okay, do you want me to finish with the Troy Reader one that's now like a token part of this segment, or do you want me to finish with the one that's not the Troy Reader one?
Let's finish this Troy Reader. We got
finish strong with Troy Reader. Okay.
Yeah.
What's more likely for the media to talk about this game when it's over? Puka's insane catch, or the Rams defense being the main reason the Rams win?
I'm going to go second one, just because we have yet to see Sam Darnold have a really good game against the Rams. He's had good moments, just like that game-winning drive against the Rams in overtime. You have to give him that, but he hasn't had a good game where he was the reason that they won because of just playing really clean, playing really well. So I think that narrative's already kind of out there, like a lazy narrative that the media can take there. Puka's insane catches are becoming just a regularity. So I'm going to go second one.
Yeah, see, Robert's saying defense. Madrid fans going Puka having I think Puka, there's a chance he makes like an iconic catch that everyone's like, that's the catch that put the Rams to the Super Bowl. Like I could totally see Puka having an insane catch. Yeah, that's what Justin's saying as well.
I would love that. And if it happened on Tariq Woolen too, that would be really cool. Because that was I still remember last year against the Seahawks when Puka like quote unquote punched Woolen and he got ejected. And there's that whole
Right.
like kind of thing between both of them. If it happened on him, that'd be even cooler.
That would be cool. All right, I got one more. My token Troy Reader one. Okay, here we go. Compose yourself, Panther. Here we go. What's more likely? Troy Reader has 2+ tackles on special teams this game, or the Rams run a hook and ladder play.
Ooh, I like that. I was just thinking of that recently. I was like, when was the last time we did that? And I remember that one where I think it was against the Packers in the playoffs that we did it with Van Jefferson and Cam Akers, if I remember right.
Yep.
But I feel like it's been a long time. But Troy Reader is also a great special teams linebacker, so I'm going to go Troy Reader.
Yeah, I could see that. And yeah, shout out Troy Reader, who's been showing up on special teams. Yep.
Yeah, we love him. We love him.
I love this comment here. This is the most biased channel ever. Hey, no shame. We
love it.
We talk about nuance, but at the end of the day, we can only explore nuance when we acknowledge our own bias, right?
That's true.
Juno's saying Reader. Joe is saying Reader. This game, we see Stafford's trick play. Oh, yeah, the secret trick play that they thought up over in London.
He also has the little asterisk eye emoji thing underneath it, too. So,
right.
Yeah, that adds emphasis.
Robert saying Reader. Reader for the win. I love it. Rams Bob is saying a hook and ladder play, which I could see it. I
actually can kind of see that one, yeah.
Reader, a hook and ladder play to Troy Reader.
Ooh.
That would be kind of interesting.
Oh, wait, no, it looks like I think he was meaning he's picking Reader. The hook and ladder seems like a desperation move.
Oh, I should have read the whole comment. I'm sorry, Excalibur. I got too excited. I was picturing Troy Reader on like a hook and ladder play on a fake punt or something.
That'd be hilarious just for this show.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that is gonna do it for what's more likely, but just the Rams. Thanks everyone for playing, and yeah, we got a couple more days here till the Rams take on the Seahawks in Seattle, and it's gonna be so slow but so fast at the same time. Can't wait. But Rams House, do you got anything coming out the next couple of days?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what yet, but there will be a video tomorrow and the next few days, continuing to try to upload every day if I can.
You've been churning them out now.
Yeah, and there'll be a post-game live stream, hopefully a post-game victory live stream on Sunday night. Because, man, if it's a victory live stream, that means we're going to the Super Bowl. That would be so exciting. But regardless if we win or lose, there will be a post-game live stream. And so that's what you can expect from me. What about you?
Well, I'll have the Rams versus Seahawks watch party that I'll be doing. I would love to see everyone there. But also, I want to remind everyone, I normally on Friday, I post a, who's going to score the first touchdown poll. It's kind of become a bit of it is a tradition on my channel. And guess what? Last week, it got over 300 votes.
Wow.
Which is like the most votes I get on my polls, because I for whatever reason people don't really vote on my polls. But I'm hoping this week we could beat that.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Let's go for a record here.
Yeah. So I would love everyone watching. Friday there'll be a poll posted on who's going to score first. Would love to get some more votes on it.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, it's been a lot of fun, but appreciate all of you guys watching, tuning in to First Down Rams. As we said before, you guys make it what it is, and hopefully, I mean, we'll probably have an episode out next week, regardless if the Rams win or lose. But hopefully, if it's one next week, it's coming after a Rams win. That's what we're hoping for, right? But
Absolutely.
Pale, thanks so much for doing this. It was a lot of fun.
Likewise, my friend. Everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning on in with us. And if you're watching on the replay, you rock for watching a live stream till the end like this. As always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. And Rams House says,
let's go Rams.